everybody. Today we're going to talk about how I grew my legs. It's taken me 5 years to go from this to this. And I actually feel like a majority of my leg gains were made the past 2 years. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything that I feel like I did wrong that was like stalling my growth from years 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to tell you everything that I changed in the past 2 years that I feel like has helped me make a bulk of the gains that I've made. I think the first thing I'm going to address is mindset, because I feel like just like with anything else in life, if your mindset isn't right, you're just not gonna make the life gains or the gains that you're trying to make. I used to be on my phone. I used to love like goofing around. Like to me, training was very much where kind of I went to have fun. I was resting long between sets, which I'll also get into when we talk about intensity. I also didn't really see myself as an athlete. I just saw myself as someone that wanted to exercise, you know? Whereas when I started making a bulk of my gains, I remember it kind of stemmed from my boyfriend being like, dude, why are you goofing off? Like, he kind of like noticed my lack of seriousness in my training. And initially I was like, dude, whatever. Like, you're weird. You take it too seriously. You're a beefcake. Like, you're a beefhead. You're a weird guy that like is too intense. But like, no, there's something to be said about gym bros and how intense they are about their training.
If you didn't squat till your nose bled, then you were doing it wrong. But that's the kind of mentality, that's the kind of place I trained at.
This mindset, they're like going in to go to war. Even though it can be cringy, it kind of is what you need. Like, I've found that channeling anger or channeling some type of like frustration, you know what I mean? Just like, it's energizing. And there's even research that's been done that like lifting with a negative mindset versus lifting with a positive mindset, it can like change how strong you feel on that day. There's a reason why athletes talk so much about mindset. You have to believe that you are capable. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're an athlete. It took me a really long time to make that mental shift. And something that helped me make that shift was, first of all, honestly following more bodybuilders. Because at first I was following a lot of body neutrality, body positivity accounts, which I think was exactly what I needed. When I first started lifting, I needed lifting to be a source of pleasure for me. I needed lifting to be a source of fun. Whereas now I follow a lot more bodybuilders that have kind of taught me this more serious mentality. One bodybuilder that I love especially is Kenzie Vance. But honestly, Sebum too, I really like his mentality around lifting. Sam Solik, literally watching any of their content, and then also look up lifting motivation videos or David Goggins motivation videos. Kenzie Vance was the one who told me about this. She mentioned how at the depths of her most previous cut, she started having to listen to David Goggins to get through her cardio sessions. And I tried it and I ended up really liking it. Yeah, I have a very big like no phone rule now, and I time my rest too, which I'm also gonna get into in the next point. Okay, next point, my intensity. Sorry, my leg keeps going up and down, but I'm trying to get comfortable. But I used to milk long rest times, because what got me into lifting was wanting to be strong. And so for a while there, we were trying to get women away from the cardio bunny mentality and away from HIIT training. So we kind of started preaching, hey, make sure that you're actually resting sufficiently between sets so that your muscles can be properly rested between sets so you can give it your all. And if you give it your all with each set, you can lift more weight, you can build more muscle. Like, that was the mindset. Boy, did I milk it. I was like, wow, bet, you want me to rest longer between sets? Don't need to tell me twice. Don't need to tell me twice. So I started resting like 5+ minutes between sets, obviously because I was goofing around, which was fun, obviously as well because I was on my phone, okay? And again, it was my boyfriend that pointed that out to me, and he was like, girl, if your goal is bodybuilding, building maximal muscle, try shorter rest times. So he kind of introduced me to the 1 minute rest time. And then now the coach that I'm working with, he's introduced me even to the 30-second rest time. And what's been nice about that is that my workouts are way shorter now. Because if you think about it, most sets are like, only 30 to 60 seconds long, if that. So a majority of our workout, y'all, we're spending resting. And I was like, holy shit. Like, no wonder I'm getting bored as fuck. I would like lose momentum, during the session, resting that fucking long and getting on my phone for that long. Whereas now I kind of like the shorter rest times because I can focus better. And not only that, I used to tell myself that I was training hard. And I really thought I was. But again, going back to the mindset thing, because I understood that proximity to failure meant your last couple reps should slow down, I swear to God, I was doing this thing where I would kind of like cheat my last couple reps and slow them down myself. Instead of like letting my body slow the rep down for me, I would like do it myself and like convince myself that I was training harder than I was. Does that make sense? And then I heard someone say that trying to do the concentric part of the lift, like the action part of the lift, as quickly as possible. So for example, when you're squatting, you do a slow descend, but then you do like an explosive concentric, supposedly recruits more muscle fibers. And I started trying it, and I really did feel like I felt a better connection, and it felt more challenging. So that's something that I feel like has helped me a lot, is shorter rest times and then actually training closer to failure without cheating myself. And what helped me figure out what training harder was again, watching people like Sam Solik, Kinsey Vance, Sebum, watching their training videos, like bro science dudes from back in the day, they used to love watching other dudes train. Whereas I feel like female influencers, and like when I got into lifting, it was less about performance, even though I would tell myself that it was about performance, and it was more about chasing like an aesthetic. So I loved watching their like what I eat in a days, and I loved watching their aesthetic, but I didn't really watch like them train and train hard and like see the art of training. Training in and of itself is an art. Oh my God, you literally just saw my foot. But so yeah, I feel like for the first 3 years of my lifting, I was doing a really good job of staying consistent, finding joy in movement, enjoying the lifestyle, chasing the aesthetic, which I think was all great and important for me. But now I feel like I'm at a place where I don't care about the aesthetic. I don't care about the lifestyle. I want to go in and I want to train hard. I feel like it's only in the past 2 years that I've been pouring all of my energy to understanding the art of training. No frills, no changing workouts all the time. It's like, I'm going to follow the same program for the next 2 years, and I'm going to train really hard, and I'm going to take detailed notes, and I'm going to see if I'm actually progressing. And I'm going to stick to movements that I actually feel in the places that I'm supposed to be feeling them in, not doing a movement just because someone else that is hot and has a fat ass is doing them. Because just because it works for her doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So that kind of segues into the next factor, consistency. What I used to do wrong is I used to change my program literally every 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. But not just tweak a couple things here and there. I would change it from top to bottom. Change everything. I would change the squat variation I was doing, the squat pattern. I would change the single leg pattern I was doing. Whereas the past 2 years that I've made the most gains, I shit you not, I've been following pretty much the same program for the past 2 years. And then when I hired my coach 3-4 months ago, getting to see how he hasn't really changed anything about my program. Like he's tweaking it so slowly, just like by increasing volume here, changing this workout there. And that has kind of confirmed to me why I have made the most gains in the past 2 years, because I stopped trying to change everything all the time. And I started prioritizing numerical progress, like seeing the progress on paper in my notes, rather than, oh my God, she's doing cable kickbacks, so I'm going to do cable kickbacks. Oh my God, she's doing cross cable kickbacks. Maybe I should try that. Oh my God, she's doing hip thrusts with the pulse. Maybe I should do that too. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but the point is, like, if you're going to do hip thrusts with the pulse, stick to that for a very long time and then actually make sure that you're progressing with that, you know? That's what worked for me. From changing my program all the time to being like, dude, fuck this. I'm just going to stick to what I know and stick to that for years. I think that's what did it for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as I always say to my clients. Next, volume. When I started training, it was kind of when we were turning away from super high volume. And again, I like took that and I ran with it. Like if someone said that I only had to do 3 sets of something, I said, absolutely perfect. Not only am I only going to do 3 sets, but I'm also going to rest for 3 to 5 minutes between those sets. And I'm only going to do like 4 compound exercises per session. I oversimplified it a little bit too much, and I went too far. Like, I used what they were saying. They weren't talking to me, basically. The people that were telling people that they needed to cut back on volume and take longer rests, they weren't talking to me, a noob, who probably needed a little bit more fire under her ass. They were talking to, like, intermediate to advanced lifters that were like burning the candle at both ends. So when I met my boyfriend, he noticed that I was like very much sticking to 4 compound exercises, 3 to 5 minutes per set for 3 sets. And he was like, girl, if you don't shorten your rest times, increase that volume, and increase that intensity, I swear to God. At first I was like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, you're such a bro. And then I tried it, keyword, I tried it for myself. Can I handle more volume? And I kind of started trusting my biofeedback, what my body was telling me. Like, if I was recovering well between sessions and I was getting stronger, I was like, let me just do it. Why wouldn't I try to do more if I can handle it? And I kind of also at that point started watching a bit more Sam Solik and seeing his training philosophy. And he's very much like, he literally said this in an interview that he just did, but he was like, I would rather go too far and kind of like push those boundaries and just see. And so I was like, why don't I just fuck around and just see? And so for like 2 years, I went hard in the paint with higher volume, and it worked really well for me, although I was probably still learning how to train hard enough as well. And now that I'm working with my coach, he's actually had me back off a ton on volume. And so I'm curious to see if he will start pushing my volume up or if he's going to keep me here. The point here is, do I think that I wasn't making gains doing 3 sets? No, I probably was, but the point is I was so focused on just going off of what I was hearing on the internet rather than trying stuff on for size for myself and seeing what I could actually handle. And so, yeah, a combination of an improved mindset, actually training hard enough, shortening my rest times, and then actually being consistent with my training, I think that all really helped push my leg growth forward. And then for the final 2 things, frequency and exercise selection, honestly, my frequency hasn't changed these past 5 years. I've always kind of been someone who trains legs 2 to 3 times a week. And so I feel like I've grown well with both 2 times per week and 3 times per week. Even in the past 2 years, I've kind of undulated between 2 to 3 times per week. And probably for the past 2 years, it's probably been closer to 2 times a week. So, and then exercise selection, like I said, I was doing random shit all the time. More recently in the past 2 years, number 1, I've introduced more isolation. I was very much, again, I took what I heard on the internet and I ran with it. And everyone at the time was saying, compounds. You need to do your compounds, like fuck the accessories. But I've found that a combination of both has been iconic for me. Like, I don't shy away from my compounds, but I've been sprinkling in isolations. I just don't make isolations the bulk of any one workout, you know? Like, these are my favorite movements that I've been doing religiously for the past 2 years. A Romanian deadlift of some kind, I really like a stable RDL variation. A squat of some kind, again, I really like a stable squat variation. My go-to has been the Smith machine for the past year. Some type of hip thrust, again, I prefer a stable variation like under a machine as opposed to with barbells. Not to mention that with barbells, it's just so much more cumbersome and takes so much more time to set up, especially if you're someone who has buns of fucking steel and you need to load like 3 plates on each side. Bulgarian split squats, I've kind of mostly just done it with dumbbell, just a dumbbell Bulgarian split squat. Leg extensions and leg curls, love both, and then a good seated abduction. Those are kind of my big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, my big 7. And before I started working with my coach, for like the full year and a half before I started working with my coach, that I was really grinding, I think that I was basically doing like the same leg day 2 to 3 times a week because it worked so well for me. I just connected so well with the exercises. I knew that I was checking off on my boxes. I had a squat variation, a hinge, a hip extension, a single leg extension, leg curl, seated abductions. Like, I feel like I checked all the boxes, you know? I only started training calves recently with my coach. Oops. But yeah, that's kind of been what's been working for me. If you take one big takeaway from this, it's just be consistent and actually keep training notes And stay consistent with form too and execution. Because something that I didn't realize is I knew that form was important, but I think I wasn't doing a good enough job of keeping all of my variables the same. So for example, if one week I squat with X weight and I do 12 reps, and then the next week I squat with the same amount of weight and I do more reps, but I kept pausing at the top, but week one I wasn't pausing at the top, is that true progression? Or did I just change the conditions in order for me to get more reps? Does that make sense? I wasn't as specific about keeping my execution the same. Like I would do it with a different tempo from week to week. I would slightly modify my form from week to week. Whereas now with my coach, I think he's been really teaching me like keep all variables the same so you can track true progress. And he's been showing me just how slow progress truly is on paper and how it really is a matter of increasing by like 1 rep every week and how patient you have to be with one load for a good amount of time. Like I used to think that I needed to be going up by like 2.5 or 5 pounds every week, or I needed to be going up in reps every single week in order for me to be actually progressing. Yeah, be consistent. Be consistent. Our bodies are science experiments, and we're not going to find the answers that we're looking for about our science experiment outside of our science experiment, outside of our bodies. That's something that I'm really learning with my coach is I have to listen to what my body is telling me. What exercises allows my body to feel better mind-muscle connection? What volume can my body recover from? What volume is my body actually progressing with? What exercises are causing me pain or discomfort? What do I have to change about this form to make it feel better for me? Okay. Don't forget to like and comment down below and subscribe so that I know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, so I keep putting it out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.